Hello, everyone. I was used to us having an intro video promoting Code Remix Summit, which takes a full minute. But I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that now that we've had a Code Remix Summit, that there isn't we don't have that intro video configured anymore. So welcome to another Code Remix stream where we will code remix reminisce about how the Code Remix Summit of last week went. But first, just a few announcements. Um, we have announced a partnership with Azul, makers of a high performance Java virtual machine, as well as other interesting developer tools uh, that can combine data collected from running your product on their JVM with recipes, with open rewrite recipes, in order to do dead code detection and elimination. If you run your app on the Azul JVM, it'll tell you which methods are called and which methods aren't, and then that information can be fed into a recipe to go mark methods that you have cluttering up your source code, but not actually, being invoked by anything in production, marked as deprecated or even removed. So check that out. I'll post a link to that in the chat for anyone who wants to check that out. Similarly, we have also announced a partnership with DiffBlue, a company that makes a pretty cool technology called Cover, which can analyze your code base and generate unit test coverage for you. One thing that we at Modern often get asked by prospective customers is, how do we know that that after a recipe has run and changes have been made, that the code is still good and in a good working condition? And we're like, well, you'll run your build and your unit tests on it, and that will provide all the same verification as any human authored change. And sometimes the response we get to that is like, yeah, we wish we had unit tests for this code base we're looking to modernize, though we don't. And so for anyone in that position or anyone looking to hit a code coverage target, could use a DiffBlue cover with an open rewrite recipe to run and add unit tests coverage to dozens or hundreds of repositories with but a click. So check that out. And other announcements, Tim Tabik, my missing co-host, has an upcoming session at Spring I/O in Barcelona, where he's going to teach you how to assert better with Assert J. I really like the Assert J testing library, and if you're here, you obviously know that Tim is a great speaker. And Barcelona is a great city, so if you're in the neighborhood, stop by and say hi to Tim. And let's see, that is, yeah, it's going to be May 22nd, 23rd in Barcelona. So check that out. Say hi to Tim for me. In open rewrite news, we put out 8.53.0 2 days ago, which has some big changes, including a JavaScript parser, as well as a whole bunch of bug fixes, some recipes. But yeah, I think JavaScript is probably the headline item there. So yeah, check that out. The Rewrite Maven plugin now supports type tables, which are a technology that has been used. Is used that recipe modules can use to bundle in the types from libraries they reference, so that their Java template invocations can work correctly. But this was only available to Gradle users until now. But now the Rewrite Maven plugin, if you add this to the project that you're building a recipe module from, has a way to provide type tables. And I don't see that in the README, so we should probably go add something to the README about how to use that. We've also been getting a lot of questions about all the various sessions that were at Code Remix, and if videos recordings for them are available. Some of those video recordings are now available. If you go to the Code Remix AI website, up to the member section, and go to session video, you'll be prompted to log in, and then you can check out the videos from the sessions. I'm not sure if we're posting 100% of the videos there, but definitely like the keynotes and some of the big headline items. All right, yeah, so that is all of the major announcements for today, which brings us to our topic, our Code Remix Code Recap with Isabel from Shelter Insurance. Isabel Toch, was I getting the
Oh,
pronunciation
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Cool.
perfect.
Yeah, right on. A DevOps engineer from Shelter Insurance. Ken Little, another engineer from Shelter Insurance. Did I pronounce Little correctly?
It's Littell. No, it's
Littell.
you're good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just from a long line of like French aristocrats, still trying to get back that ducal claim that they ran your ancestors out of France for. Yeah, I hear you. Uh, and of course, Kevin, another modern engineer and peer of mine, who you could tell
Formerly of
from
Shelter Insurance.
also formerly of Shelter. I'm the only person here who has not worked at Shelter Insurance at any point in my career so far. Although I have visited the offices in Missouri, and it was a good time all around. Uh, so yeah, hello friends. So we all attended the Code Remix Summit in various capacities. I was a speaker giving a talk on how to do open rewrite stuff and author recipes. Kevin, you didn't have any speaking topics, did you? Yeah,
Not
but you
this
were
year.
there at Backtrack, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you
Yeah, I
were there
spent
helping.
spent the whole time helping solve mass refactoring problems, things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Isabel, what kind of stuff did you get up to at the conference?
So Ken and I, we did a ton of things. We visited, I think, around 6 sessions, and mainly did those. And then we also did Hack Track a couple times, which was just a great option to have to go ahead and go, because I always have issues to work on. So I know, Sam, you helped me out with an issue that I was having in one of my applications, which was great.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I remember that now. We were talking about you had an old Gradle build. You're trying to get a new
Uh-huh.
Gradle version, and needed to make some updates. Did you get that working? I feel like when I left you, we'd gotten it most of the way there,
Mhm.
but I never got the thrilling conclusion of our investigation.
Yes, no, it's working now.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, that was it. It felt like such a small change, but it was really good to get in there with you guys and actually talk it out. I feel like
Yeah,
sometimes you get in your head about a lot of things, and
absolutely.
yeah, being around you guys and being able to work together it was really nice. I know Ken said that he hadn't seen that at a conference before, and so having that available and even just going and meeting everyone too was really, really nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it was really nice. So we did that for a little bit. But yeah, mostly attended sessions all day. And I know you guys didn't get to attend all of the sessions. So
Yeah, we Kevin and I were mostly there in the hack track. So that is one thing I wanted to ask
mhm.
you guys about. What sessions did you go to? Did you like them? Should people go and check out the recordings of them? Let's start with you, Ken, since Isabel gave us that great introduction to what you guys were up to. What sessions did you go to?
Yeah. So, like Isabel said, I made 6 of them. I think I had the opportunity to go to 8 of them, but Hack Track was just too appealing to pass up. So sat in on some big speaker names, right? Deshaun Carter from
Hmm.
Broadcom.
Hmm.
I had to get in on that. I have a little bit of history with him, and so I just, selfishly wanted to get in there and just have a little bit of FaceTime with him. But at the same time, he had kind of continued on the same notes that Dove Katz from Morgan
Morgan
Stanley.
Stanley, yeah.
Yeah, he had given a keynote, and he had, mentioned in his keynote about giving recognition to your engineers, to your developers, especially the ones that are interested in improving your code base at scale, right?
Hmm.
And so giving that recognition that not everyone, everyone derives value in different ways, or they just have those different languages of recognition. And so being able to quantify that and present that and just share that, and celebrate success, that's one of those, like, I think, easy culture changes that you can make that is a win for everyone. And
Yeah, I
so,
thought Dov Katz's presentation was a great lesson for. I mean, it was kind of specific to deploying Open Rewrite and Modern in an organization, but the lessons, the takeaways were incredibly general, just like a master class on how to effectively create change in an organization. And giving credit to people and rewarding collaborators, I think is an absolutely huge part of that. I think every senior engineer who's like, I want to get to principal engineer, right? Like I want to raise my impact. I want to have some big accomplishment to stake a claim to. Could really learn a thing or two from Dove's example there.
Yeah, and Deshaun came prepared too, right? He came prepared with scripts to show, migrating from Spring Boot 2.7 to 3.0 and just the gains that you get just from that, and at the same time, running those open rewrite recipes to migrate from, I think he had a Java maybe 8 or Java 11 application, and then migrating that all the way to 21 and showing the gains from that, and just being able to have those scripts prepared and just report it immediately, almost as part of your CI/CD pipeline, and just have it available and show it off. And it was just like that instant recognition, instant gratification, instant ROI, right? And so that was really like the title of that session was the refactoring or refactoring the ROI of software. And so, selfishly wanted to go see Deshaun and took away a ton there. Just really glad that I attended that. We got up to sitting in on Venkat, Dr. Venkat.
He's a great speaker.
Yeah, I had personally never heard him speak before, and so I just, I learned what a big name he was, and I definitely seen his stuff online, and so just being able to actually experience him give a talk was really good. His was about refactoring to modernize Java applications, and it's simply not good enough to just get on the latest version of things, but actually to use those things. And so specifically with Java, Java's backwards compatible very far back.
One of the real strengths of the ecosystem.
Yeah, you can have Java 8, and Java 8 code.
Run it on Java 21 or 25.
Run it on Java 21. You're not getting the benefits of using Java 21. Now you're getting some benefits, security patches and whatnot. Yeah, you're getting some. But, if you're not using...
There's more, yeah.
If you're using more functional over imperative, like for your loops.
Totally.
It's those things that you can actually make use of your migration. And so he had a lot of points there, and he also spoke a little bit about AI, right? Like no conference can get away with without talking about AI.
Especially now, there's no way.
Yeah, but I really liked how, at this conference, as opposed to other conference, they're like, AI is the latest, greatest thing. It's going to solve all your problems. And here I felt was a lot more grounded in reality at Code Remix. Everyone was like,
here are specific things AI is useful for and good at right now.
Yeah, and so oh my gosh,
more actionable.
From the mention of AI, I just want to go off. But keeping it focused with what what Dr. Venkat talked about was there's always going to kind of be this human in the loop element. We may save ourselves some time, but if you don't really know what you're using it for, so it tends to be this crutch where people are like, well, I don't know how to do this. Hey, AI, you do it for me. Now you're at this crossroads where you're like, how do you verify that? Because you didn't know what you wanted.
Yeah, it probably just told you a mixture of true and hallucinated things. Yeah, and so you need to at least have the knowledge to falsify the things it's telling you. Hey, looks like Kevin's back. He did mention that his internet connection was a bit spotty, so we may see him dropping in and out. I also got this question from Josh in the chat. Yes, Josh, I was at Code Remix. Sorry if I missed you. I was mostly in the hack track area, but was pulled aside into various meetings if we had a customer or a prospect or someone with a difficult question. I tended to be tracked down to help with that a lot. There was one point where I was like hiding behind Ken and Isabel since they had asked for help with something, and I'm like, I'll get to you next, I promise. And then after saying that, several other people had come up to me with questions for me to help with, and so I was like, okay, the only way I can honor my promise to you guys to help you next is if I hide from everyone else who's asking me questions. So if you missed me because I was actively hiding, I'm sorry, Josh, and I'll catch you at the next one.
I even went up to Sam and I was like, Sam, I need your help with something. He's like, no, Isabel and Ken have been waiting for me for an hour. So.
But then I did go over by Ken and Isabel and looked at your message on Slack and actually did end up responding to you. It's like, oh wait, I do know the answer to this, more or less off the top of my head. Just wouldn't tell it to you to your face. Had to go across the room and send you a message.
Ken, I was going to kind of tie back to what Deshaun was saying. Well, Deshaun and Venkat said a lot of similar things. Like they were talking about a lot of the similar practices, especially when it comes to AI and just refactoring in general. I know they both really highlighted, which I haven't heard before, CI, CM. So it's like continuous integration, continuous migration. I kind of related it to just normal CI/CD, but migration being specifically to like continuously updating your code. One of the things that Ken and I had talked about afterwards, like at least a handful of times, we saw Deshaun was talking about. I'm definitely adopting this phrase that if it ain't broke, break it. And I love that so much. I think people are so scared of breaking their code because they're going to be making updates and they just kind of avoid updates and push them to the side because they're scared.
Which could, if people are feeling that way, it could speak to, what Dove was talking about of like give people recognition for improving things. If people are really hesitant to break stuff, it may be indicative of a culture that is overly punitive, fails to reward people who are doing like necessary work to move the company and the enterprise forward, or very possibly both.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know Deshaun talked a lot about both Deshaun and Venkat talked a lot about culture, and I think of course it ties back to that. And they talked about processes. So all of those processes, obviously, they're all just so interconnected with each other. And I remember he also said, Deshaun said that if there's any issues with migration or updates, it's not a technical problem. It tends to usually be a process problem. So I definitely keep that close to here too once I heard that.
I definitely noticed throughout my careers many an engineer attempting a technical solution to a people problem. Be like, I don't know how to convince a person of this, or like this other team or individual or my boss is doing something I don't like. But if I change the code, I could like work around that. And it's like, nah, I mean, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're just gonna create more hassles for yourself and for everyone if your solution isn't actually in the domain where the problem is.
Yeah, for sure. I know that they also emphasized, like especially with Modern and running updates and everything just incredibly quickly and efficiently. I know that they talked a lot about not emphasizing the fact that you're saving hours or saving your devs hours or time, like to put it in that context, to actually put it in the context of like this is money that you're saving, risk reduced, throughput increased, like those kinds of metrics that you would be talking about. Those are way, way more indicative of what is actually being improved upon rather than just I'm saving this amount of time, because you can use a ton of tools to,
Save
say
time.
I use this amount or I save this amount of hours.
Right. What does an hour actually mean? It's kind of nebulous.
Yeah, it's very it's just there's a lot of speculation and it's not really concrete. So one thing that I took from both of their sessions was in like a personal context, I'm working with a lot of legacy applications right now. I'm working on a lot of legacy updates. So those really hit home. I told Ken, I was like, I don't know if you're going to come with me, but I'm going to these talks because they're talking about updating legacy code and like changing culture norms and all of these things. And I learned so many phrases that I hadn't heard before. Ken and I were talking about yak shaving today.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I hadn't heard of that before, and I thought that was really interesting. And apparently, it means if you're like stuck in yak shaving or you're doing yak shaving, you're getting stuck spending time on low value tasks that you can actually really automate out. And so you can automate those processes away, and that was beautiful. I'm now going to use yak shaving every single day.
There's a fun
Very
little
good.
moment between
Yeah.
Isabel and I compiling our notes after the conference, and I just had one that it was completely unanswered. Just the question, "What is yak shaving?" Like, and that was it. Like that's how I signed
No
off my notes
context.
from Deshawn's. Yeah. And she's like, "What? What is that?" And so we had to Google it. But,
We had to. So this is really the information that we got from the conference is we found out what yak shaving was.
Never do
Really
efficiently that which shouldn't be done at all. Yep.
Yeah. How do you just not shave the yak? Leave the yak alone. It's fine. Its fur was meant to grow that way. So Kevin, what was your experience in the hack track? I mean, personally going into it, I'm like, I don't know if we're going to be bombarded with questions or have no one who wants to talk to us at all. And that was a little bit, just like a little bit uncertain for me going in. But I, just recalled back to my first job in high school where I was phone tech support for a small internet service provider, and was like, you know what? Won't be so bad. My job hasn't really changed that much over the years. It's just different things I provide tech support on now. What were your feelings going into it, and how did that comport with the experience itself?
That's a good point. I honestly don't really know what I expected. I walked into it thinking, okay, there's going to be like tables. Like I was picturing long, like the tables you have at a presentation or whatever, and then, but no, there were these high top tables, and I spent the entire time. I think probably the first day I spent just basically explaining Modern and our DiffBlue integration and the different things that we do. And, it came with the CLI key. So, helping folks get the CLI installed and, running recipes across their repos. And then I spent a decent amount of time answering questions about like what recipes exist out of the box versus what recipes could have what problems could have custom recipes written to solve them. And it was just kind of a mix. And then the last day I spent probably half the day working with one of our customers on something that had been plaguing them for a long time, and like helping them get that over the line. And then met with, a couple prospective customers, folks who were like, well, we have this problem. Like, I don't know if Modern and Open Rewrite can help or what the difference is really. It was, I was busy the entire time. I had a couple of calls that I went on throughout the conference, but at no point was I like, man, this is boring, and I feel like I should
Yeah.
go be doing something. No, it was very energizing too. Like the different types of questions that we had, and the variance. What's the word I'm looking for? The breadth of knowledge and skill set of the folks who were at the hack track. I think it would really be interesting to have some folks who are outside of Modern come and be there to answer questions as well for the next one. Like, here's how we use it, because I think Dove's presentation really it set the stage for a lot of my conversations throughout both days. Well, he talks about dev capacity instead of time saved, money saved. You're not freeing up space to get rid of your devs and replace them with AI or whatever. You're freeing up their capacity to deliver bigger things. And so it really fed a lot of those conversations. So it'd be interesting to see other folks who have written Open Rewrite recipes in the past, solve big problems at their company, go into the hack track as well next time and be able to, like, they can evangelize better than anyone trying to sell a product ever could.
Totally, and that's a really interesting point. I think we probably will try to do that. Like we, the like DiffBlue and Azul, like our partners, were participating in the in the hack track space, but it wasn't something that we like solicited speakers for. The way that we solicited speakers for the presentations. But maybe that'll change. Maybe next time we will have like hack track speakers from outside of the company of just like, hey, have you solved like cool problems in the space? Come and hang out with people, be recognized as an expert, do in-person tech support for a while.
And I think especially with DiffBlue, right? Like, I want to use their product on my own code. And so it would be really cool for them to, get in there and be like, well, these guys can help you with the automated refactoring, but then you've got to write these unit tests too for the code that you're not covered. You don't know if you're going to break when you upgrade because you don't have good unit test coverage. Like, let me help you run that on your code first.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was messaging one of my devs when I was in the Diff Blue session with Andy, and I was telling him, I was like, because he's working on unit tests right now. I was like, hey, you have to try out this new tool that I just found out about. Like, this is gonna make it so much easier. Because I think I plagued Andy with questions on like how exactly everything is working. I was like, how do you not get junk tests and all of these? Like, oh my gosh, like his entire presentation on it. I was so curious. I actually had set up DiffBlue in like, because they have an extension through IntelliJ. I set it up with IntelliJ just a couple of days ago, and I'm so excited to get my hands dirty with it. Yeah. So yeah, that was really, really awesome. And Kevin, to talk about your point for adding people that have contributed to recipes and everything, I was harassing Ken over the past couple days since he's contributed to Open Rewrite. I was like,
Apache.
tell me how you did it. I'm like, I want to know everything. And we had kind of our own hack track going on. So yeah, that would be awesome. A really cool addition for next time.
Yeah. Well, maybe Ken can be a hack track speaker. I don't even know if speaker is the right word. I mean, definitely do lots of speaking, but a hack track hacker, I don't know.
A hack tracker,
cool kind of title. Hack tracker, yeah.
I do like to wear this like hat. It's my own imaginary hat I put on at Shelter, where it's like I'm an internal salesman for selling the product that we've already bought, right? Like I want people to use it, and it's just like it's this transformative experience where you go from like engineer to super engineer, where you start thinking about more than just the code that you're normally like maintaining. Now you're starting to think about problems at scale. You're starting to think, well, if I have this problem here at Shelter, maybe everybody, we're doing things in a very similar manner.
Those are the kinds of questions and impulses that get you promoted. If you are, if you like go out there and actually solve that problem for everyone. Yeah. And it's part of why I like teaching people how to write recipes so much, because it is like acquiring a new superpower as a developer. Before I could change one file in one repository at a time, and afterwards I could change, a million files in a million repositories at once.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, not every problem, that's not applicable to every single problem you run into as a developer. But when you do have a problem that calls for that, it's amazing to be able to rise to that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of my little takeaways, my little, I don't know, made up sayings, you see all these products that came there, and, Diff Blue, Azul JVM with their code inventory. It's great. If you think about them outside the context of Modern and Open Rewrite, they're still great products. They're still those things that, people imagine in their head, what if this existed? And now they exist. And then I always like to like append with Modern. It's almost synonymous with at scale. And so it's like, here's this awesome thing. They've partnered with Modern. So here's this awesome thing at scale.
Yeah. You do it your whole code base, all 50,000 repositories or whatever.
Yeah. It's just such like a, it's got this exponential.
Yeah. Force multiplier for
force
sure.
multiplier. Thank you. Yeah.
When we released code mod support, it was kind of like, well, we're working on JavaScript and TypeScript. But we already have this distribution mechanism, this like at scale mechanism. So like, why not just let folks use code mods while they wait on the longer term JavaScript support? I really like that, the way you said that.
Yeah, very good, very good. Let's see. So I don't know, what kind of stuff would you like to see next year? We've already gotten some good ideas in terms of bringing in more external people to be hack trackers, as I think that name is already sticking. Obviously bring back some of these great speakers and guests. Obviously, my number one is the food and the coffee and snacks were great, but it did feel like the caterers would put it out and then yank it away just a little too quickly. So I think we would just ask them like, hey, leave the snacks and coffee out a smidge longer. So like aside from that, what did anyone have anything for that we should take into account for next year?
I took the Survey Monkey, and it was kind of like one of those no notes except more food, because that's the one question on everyone's mind here. I go to conference for food. I just happened to learn all this awesome stuff that was
the
there.
food was very good.
That's Yeah, it was. It really was, especially for like your first conference, right? Like no one expects that, you know. It was like in the
A
back of my head
lot
wondering
of
like how
credit
good's it gonna
to our
be.
partners at No Fluff Just Stuff who run many
Yeah.
conferences that they know how to set one of these up, how to make sure that all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, that all the relevant contractors and everything are lined up. And yeah, I don't know if you're listening to this and wanting to run a conference, definitely talk to Jay Zimmerman at No Fluff Just Stuff, because I've been to lots of conferences and lots that are put on by No Fluff Just Stuff, and at least to me, this did not stand out as like a first time conference. It
Oh,
wasn't. It was just as like the production values were just as high as the other conferences I've been to.
Yeah, it was everything just went very smoothly. It was very
Mm.
seamless. Yeah, it didn't seem like a first time conference at all. It was a ton of fun. Oh my goodness. I had a blast. The things that I would change probably for next year, like add on to next year, was I would love to see Michael have a little bit more stage time for his tricks.
Oh yeah, Michael Carducci, yeah,
Yes.
speaker
Oh, yeah.
and magician extraordinaire. We
Mhm.
actually we almost were able to have him on this stream today, but he was a little too busy with the client at this particular time to be able to call in. But hopefully we can have him on the stream again soon. But yeah, I think Michael does uh, aptly demonstrate how being able to capture your audience's attention is a valuable career skill, and to be an engaging speaker and an engaging presenter can benefit you a lot. I've definitely observed in engineers before that there are some engineers who are like, I want to do software because I don't like working with people. I'd rather work with machines. And it's like, I get that. People are frustrating and annoying lots of the time, but also you're going to have a low ceiling on your career if you're really committed to operating in that mode, because even as an IC, or heck, even as like a VP of engineering or whatever, it's you have to convince people that your ideas are good, that what you think is important actually is important, or engage in all of the diplomacy and soft power and whatever else to actually get anything done that isn't like totally a solo project.
Oh yeah,
So
you're contributing to the culture.
yeah,
There's no getting out of being part of a team or having
absolutely.
people around you. Like there's other devs that are still people too. So there's no getting out of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, which can also be an empowering thing if you're talking about a culture or a process problem. Well, it's like you're part of the culture and you're part of the process. So you can always start by
Part of the
being
problem.
the change you want to see in the world.
No problem.
Was that Kevin?
I said, yeah, so you're part of the problem too? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean yes.
Well, I mean, yes, and
It's like
that's
if
part
you're
of the solution.
who amongst us hasn't been in a car sitting in traffic being like, damn, all this traffic. Like, my man, you're traffic,
Right. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're not in traffic. You are traffic. Exactly.
How
Exactly,
could they do
exactly.
this to me?
That's why I work from home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, working from home is great for sitting in traffic less, but isn't necessarily as helpful for dealing with process or culture problems at your
Right.
company. It can be a little bit harder to hash some of that out sometimes, which is
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that getting together in person at a conference can be great fun for.
So, what did you all think of the venue? So, I'd not been to a conference in Florida before, or on the beach, or anything. So, yeah, what was your take on that?
What a softball question, Kevin. You put us up in Margaritaville Resort and you put us right on the beachfront and ask us how we liked the venue. Yeah, we liked the venue. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys this though. So I went to a conference in December, also in Florida. I was in Tampa and I had kind of the same setup, but our schedule was so crazy. I didn't go to the beach one time. I didn't set foot on the beach. We were in there from like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., like no
Brutal.
breaks. And so I was looking at the beach outside of the hotel window, just like, that's beautiful. And then I would go
Just
back to another
sad
session.
longing, so close and yet so far.
Yep.
I was like, no. But no, I feel like we really had time. Like there was literally a beach break scheduled into our set. Like I
Thank
loved
you.
that. That was awesome. And I know we did end up going to the beach. So it was, the whole thing was great. There was food within walking distance. Like I have no complaints. It was great.
Yeah, the beach break was an excellent addition to the schedule,
Mhm.
and I think we're planning to. Of course, nothing's finalized yet, but I think we're planning to take up that whole floor next year. I think there's enough
That
room
would be awesome.
to grow.
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah.
same
I'd love to
venue.
go back. That'd
Yeah,
be
I mean this one I think was a real success. I mean when we decided we were doing this a year ago, I was I didn't know if anyone was going to come. I was just like, please let there be more attendees than Modern employees there, you know. And I think our final count of attendees was like 110, 115 or something, you know, excluding staff and vendors and Modern employees and stuff. Um, so I think that was a great first year one. So I think we're definitely going to be doing another, and it'll surely be bigger next year. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, the Jida has posted some photos from the conference, including Michael Carducci performing some magic. So definitely check out the photos. Jida did a great job documenting things. Yeah, let's see. I don't know. Any other so yeah, everyone had a good time. We liked the sessions, we liked the speakers, we liked the food, so long as they didn't snatch it away from you too quickly. Yeah, the Margaritaville Beach Resort was a great venue. Definitely had fun swimming in the ocean. I definitely prefer the Atlantic Ocean or that side of Florida because you get some real waves there. If you're on the Gulf side, the waves are a lot more tepid because it's a Gulf, not the full ocean. So I find that more fun than something than swimming on like the Tampa side of Florida, for example. And I did really like just near the conference center there was a mangrove forest that you could kayak through, and I'd never seen so many wild iguanas. There are a lot
Yeah,
of wild iguanas,
they're
which
plagued with iguanas.
yeah, which I think they're pretty cool. So that was fun. You had a nice mix of luxury amenities and then the raw force of nature with the ocean, and then and cool lizards. So I mean, what more could you want from a conference, really?
Yeah, I guess the only other thing I would bring up is, the infamous hallway track, right? And so we had different tracks, practitioner, leadership, all that, and hack track.
Yeah,
But then you got your hallway track, which is just rubbing elbows with people and making
yeah,
connections. And I did so much of that, so much more than I've done at other conferences that are much larger at scale. I made the comparison that sometimes those large ones feel very lonely. Even if you know
yeah.
people, you get so little time with them, and everything's so busy. And while this one was very busy, it was very fun, and just all the connections we made, time flew by. Like maybe that would be my addition, is like another day,
Another day.
another day for
Yes,
remix,
for
because
sure.
I don't think I slept all that much, just out of like excitement and just like getting up and being ready and like being out
Yeah.
and rubbing elbows with people till midnight. And it was just wall to wall. And so like more time would be great, especially for that hallway track, and being able to talk with folks about their experience or where they are on their journey. They're just getting started. Oh man, you're going to love it. Or, oh, you've been doing it for a while. Tell me, And so Shelter gets that, that claim to fame of being the first customer. So I like to
That's
rub
true.
that in people's faces. But
We were
so, oh,
ahead of
you
the
think you've been
curve.
on it a long time? Well,
Let me tell you something, Sonny.
yeah. Back in my day with Open Rewrite. Yeah,
Very good. Yeah, I thought the hack track being there really provided those socialization opportunities. And, it's like a formalization of the hallway track to a certain extent. That there's always somewhere you could go. It's like I've definitely been to other conferences where for a particular hour slot, I'm just like, I'm not interested in any of these particular talks. It's like I know that thing already, or that's not a technology I use, and it'd be nice to just have somewhere, somewhere else to go to just talk and socialize with other practitioners. So yeah, I think that's a feature that will definitely be returning in future years.
That's good. Yeah, I after the conference, I was telling Ken, I was like, I'm normally someone that needs a little bit of time to recharge, but we ended at like, oh my gosh, like
4,
after
5.
doing everything, like what, 8 or 9 every night, and
Oh
then
yeah.
I was so ready to go in the morning. I was like, let's go and let's talk to all these people. And I had kind of a different problem where I wanted to go to Hack Track, but I also wanted to hear all of these speakers, and the sessions
Of
were
course.
so interesting. I was like, I don't want to miss these sessions, but I don't want to miss Hack Track. And so after the first day, I was like, it would be amazing if I could like have half the day for Hack Track and then half the day for sessions. But adding like an entire other day would be so awesome. I love that suggestion, Ken.
Well, we'll see what we can do. All depends on how many attendees we think will show up next year. Which I sure as heck don't know how to estimate, because I had no idea we were going to get to 110 this year.
Yeah.
Is double that plausible next year? I don't know. We'll figure out though. We'll talk to Jay and try to get some idea of what the curve might look like. But I don't know. Maybe 3 days is a possibility. I don't know. We'll see.
I do want to ask, one of the things that this conference had that was not I hadn't seen before was we chose a longer, well, I think there were 75-minute sessions instead of the normal 50 to 60 minutes. I'm curious how you felt that added to, or would you change that? Would you increase that, decrease that, or did you like it?
I think it was the perfect amount of time. Yeah, I had my notes out the entire time, just furiously typing. I think any longer would probably be it would
Exhausting.
start to weigh a little bit, especially since we didn't have readily available coffee all the time.
Right? Yeah, just put one of those in every single room.
And like sessions after lunch would be a little bit harder, So I think the time that you guys had for each of the sessions was perfect. Yeah. No less, no more, because you have to fit a certain amount of information in that session. I think any less would have been doing a disservice to the speakers. Yeah.
Yeah. As a speaker, I liked having that amount of time. I've delivered classes on how to do open rewrite many times now, and it was nice to have a little breathing room and to feel like I wasn't having to like rush through it to like get to a good stopping point. Where I liked the session length from that side of the table.
Yeah, I felt like there was actually time for Q&A after the sessions. As opposed to what I've seen at a lot of other conferences is that it ends right on the dot, and they'll leave like 3 minutes for Q&A, and of course, like big conference, 30 people go up in line, and so it's like I can either talk more about this really interesting thing or miss my next session. Yeah, it's like and so I didn't have that here. I think the only time I ever ran over was just getting lost in conversation with Deshaun, and luckily that overlapped with lunch, so that didn't impact anything.
Yeah, but what you're saying about there is that after lunch lull that everyone is just like digesting. Maybe we have like a short fun sessions after lunch of like, all right, for a topic that is maybe a little bit more entertaining, or someone just doing like a cool demonstration, not something you have to engage with super hard or take a lot of notes. Maybe we could have like a little like a 20-minute thing. Yeah, Michael, do some magic.
Rewrite over here, magic over here, and you just do two technological magic and non-tech magic at the same time.
Yeah.
I would have gone into Hack Track after lunch, actually, to kind of energize me a little bit more.
There you go.
Inspire me for more sessions, because then you have all these possibilities in your mind. You're like, okay, we should do something like this, and yeah.
I like what you're saying, Kevin, about having a magic track. I've often said that that my ideal job is wizard, and I just do software engineer because it's the next best thing. And just I want to know the secret words and the grammar with which I can speak the spell that will change the world. And software is just the closest thing I've found to that. So yeah, I see a congruity there. So yeah, I'm in favor of we'll see if Michael will just have a magic show session after one of the lunches one day. He'd probably be down.
Oh yeah,
that was some impressive stuff.
Yeah, he's good. I remember he challenged the audience at one point. He's like, "Hey, if you catch me doing the sleight of hand, this $100 bill is yours." Now, I don't know if the sleight of hand was that it was actually a $1 bill, not a $100 bill. But did anyone claim that? Did we know if did
Mm-mm.
no one none of you
Nobody
Nope.
guys got
got
it? None of you guys saw anyone
it.
get it?
No.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him if anyone's ever if he's ever had to pay out on that or not.
I have a feeling the odds are in his favor.
Yeah,
Saxon, yeah.
if you were giving out $100 bills on the regular, you'd probably stop issuing that challenge. So just the fact that he's still doing it probably says he's pretty good at it.
I would
But
stop doing that trick like immediately.
yeah,
After
for
my
sure.
first loss, no more of this.
Okay, it's been fun, guys. We want to go around and just do one like final kind of closing remark from everyone. I don't know, Kevin, what do you got from us? Any final parting thoughts?
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to talk about that I haven't yet was Chris Jenkins's talk on types and how they communicate to you. And
Yeah.
man, I hope and think that we're publishing that at some point. I don't know, but like hopefully everyone gets to experience that. So like this being our first conference, we could basically pick whatever we wanted for the keynotes, right? And so we picked like at 8 in the morning. I don't like being up in 8 in the morning, but like this was so energizing. Chris Jenkins up there talking about how type systems communicate to the developer, how it communicates to other systems, how it communicates context and things like that, and made me think, really do a double take and think about how I write types in general and what they should and shouldn't mean. So that was just sort of eye-opening, and I wish I'd gotten to attend more sessions because, like, if they're all like that, then man,
Yeah.
you learn a lot at something like that. So, but yeah, no, really, it was really great. It was. I don't know if Sam mentioned this early on, but we not most of the Madaren team hadn't met each other, so it was really
There were
cool
a lot of
to
us who
even
hadn't met
go
in person.
Oh, you guys were
meet the
just
rest
a
of the
melting
folks.
pot. You guys, I didn't get that. I didn't get that from how you guys interacted with each other.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, it's one of those things where you like talk to someone online a lot, and you feel like you know them really well, and then have the like, oh wait, you're 6 feet tall. Like I hadn't
Right? They're
assumed
so
that.
tall.
So it's like you know someone really well, but also not some of the most basic first impression stuff. So it's always funny meeting internet friends in real life.
The guy from Sweden and the 3 guys from the Netherlands being 8 feet tall was
Oh my God,
shouldn't have
they're
been
so
surprising, I
tall.
suppose.
I think one of them kind of walked up behind me, and I was like, ah.
You felt the sun being darkened, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
How about you, Ken? Any final thoughts?
It's been a bit since I think I've felt that developer focused conference, right? Like I go to all these developer conferences, but it feels like maybe they've just got a little bit too big for themselves. I don't know. Like this was a lot smaller. I didn't know what to think about that going into it. I'm like, smaller. I've been to Java one, Spring one, reInvent. So coming here, I didn't know what to think. What is small like? And it was just this intimate setting where you have time to chat with people, and everyone there was just very forward focused, driven towards making things better, and everyone was just so smart, so helpful, willing to share their journeys, curious, and so that, like I've heard everyone in here say, they were energized, and I absolutely felt that too. So I can't wait to go back.
Nice.
Hearing Jonathan say that this is the smallest it's ever going to be in his keynote, it's kind of like bittersweet moment where it's like, well, shoot, I hope we don't grow up too fast, but because this is awesome.
Yeah, the only constant is change. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've heard, I heard that too. There were so many great themes that resonated with me throughout all the different sessions, and they were, they kind of, I don't know, just bled into one another, and it was just this, I don't know, it was great. I want to go back. That's my selling point. It's
Right on.
let's go.
Right on.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, let's. How about you, Isabel? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much every single thing that Ken said. I felt the same way. We've been talking about it since we got back, basically. And yeah, I just want to piggyback on top of that and say I really I liked the fact that we could go ahead and really dive into why and how things are working. With every single session that I ended up going to, I felt like I could ask a million questions and people were okay with it. My fingers never stopped typing. I just felt like a sponge. Like I was just getting all of this new information and yeah, felt incredibly energized the whole time. It was just a lot of information. I think it happened at a really good time too, because there's a lot of new AI tools and agentic development is kind of kicking it up now. So I think it really just kind of met in this really cool intersection, and yeah, it made for a really, really good mix for the conference. So yeah, like I said, I echo everything that Ken said. I'm very excited to go back next year.
Nice.
Yeah, and I really hope that the caterers
we'll get them to leave out the coffee and snacks longer for sure.
Yeah,
For
feedback
sure.
heard and given. Yeah.
Yeah. And one final, totally unrelated question that I've been wondering about this whole time, Isabel. What are the plants over your shoulder? Just like what species of plant are these?
Oh my gosh, there are a few different kinds. I have the long one in the back right here.
Yeah.
I have two pothos, this one up front in the white pot and the one in the back. And then the one on the windowsill is a red Congo philodendron. Ooh. And then the other one hanging is a prayer plant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're all very tropical, very humid climate plants. They're very happy here.
Nice. Yeah, in Houston, yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Thanks for sharing. I was just admiring the plants over your shoulder and curious about what they were all this time.
You're not going to ask about my llama spider plant that my kid grows?
You know, Ken, I was going to ask, did you clean up this room since the last time we were on a call? It just feels nicer and neater.
Cut it, cut
it. I'm like, has that carpet been back
in the last 24 hours?
Yeah.
In the last 4 hours.
Good stuff, guys. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining me. This is a fun to get together and reminisce, and look forward to seeing you again next year.
All right, thanks, Sam. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you guys for having us
on.
All
right, bye, everybody.
See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.